a time.
Welcome back to One Leg at a Time, the podcast about health, wellness, fun, recovery, and music. I'm your host, Dr. Deen Anbar, and I'm interviewing other musicians and creatives about their process, their priorities, and the things that they do to achieve their goals. Michael Shiono.
Dr. D.
That's me, Dr. Deen Anbar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I've been really trying to figure out how to utilize that credential because I am a doctor of music.
You don't say.
Yeah, but I do say. But also, like, this is the challenge of it is, so far as these conversations are concerned, what I still don't know really is, like, if that's important. Do you know what I mean?
Of course it's important.
Tell me why you think that.
The title itself doesn't... I should say this. The title itself is important to some people. Whether it's important to you or not, that's your own choice. But all that you've learned and you know how to learn, I think that's proof. If you have a doctor credential, you know how to learn. You know, so it's about figuring out how to communicate what you've learned to other people, which is, I assume, what the point of this podcast is, you know.
That's a really interesting perspective. And I wanted to ask you that question also because you are one of the people who have been pretty vocal about saying that you think it's cool that I have a doctorate. You know, I'm a little shy about it. I don't know if it's a combination of imposter syndrome. It's a combination of a lot of things, and also just sort of there's such a non-linear connection between having earned that credential and then what do you do with it? Because in this profession of the arts, you know, it's still all kind of a mystery.
The best way I can frame it is that having that sort of credential, like I said, it just shows that you've done the work. Yeah, I mean, we all, as musicians, we're both musicians. Street cred speaks volumes, you know, and a doctorate is probably the most opposite end of street cred as you can get, you know.
Much.
But you can play. We've played hours and hours and hours of gigs.
We have.
So
yeah,
I think, I mean, maybe not lead with it, but
well, I'm trying to figure it out.
Read the room, bro. You know, read the room, because that piece of paper will get you in a lot of doors that somebody like myself, who's not a doctor, can't get into. You know, it opens up a lot of doors.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, an artist I used to work with, his life story is amazing, but one of the best pieces of advice that I left after I stopped working with him, he told me, never let anyone else tell your story. And we could spend a whole pod talking about what that means. But don't let other people dictate how you feel about what you've achieved and what you've worked on and who you are. You define that. That's what being an artist is.
Yeah.
You know, that's the ultimate test of artistry is, are you authentically, I don't like that word, but are you unapologetically yourself? And that's your story, you know, don't hide from it.
Mm-hmm.
As artists, we're trying to tell our story, you know, and that's a part of who you are. So, like, be proud. Like, that's some hard shit to do. Can we cuss?
You can.
Okay, sparingly. That's hard to do. I suck at school. I do not like school. I don't know who listens to this, stay in school, but, you know, real life can teach you a lot of other things that school maybe won't prepare you for.
So far as being in control of what your story is, how do you feel that you are able to do that for yourself?
Well, I'll speak on what I've processed in my life. It's really about being comfortable with who you are and having the courage to accept who you are, limitations and all. Granted, we're always trying to get better at our craft, our relationships, health, discipline, all of those things. And we're far from perfect, but the greatest artists are unapologetically themselves. Mm-hmm. They accept who they are and they go hard with it. Mm-hmm. And you got to block out the noise.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. One way to do that, and it can be a career suicide. I've employed it, but I stay off of social media. I haven't been on since 2018.
You're really good about not being on social media.
Well, yeah, I've divorced myself from it, and I've probably missed out on a plethora of opportunity from not advertising or putting myself out there that way. But I have so much peace that I feel like my creative When I do need to be creative or like really step it up, I have more room for it because I'm not worried about quote unquote the backlash or how it's going to be received or
Yeah.
it just feels like I can be more. That just works for me. That's just my personality. I value privacy and peace above, I don't know, uh, going far. If that makes any sense,
I think
that bears a lot more weight.
Yeah, and having, being good at social media is a separate
Fact.
thing
Fact.
from being a musician.
Fact.
And whether, the degree to which you want to advertise yourself, it just depends on what sort of an image you actually want to put out to the world. So it is different. And I think that we learn that. I think that it's easy to get caught up on like, oh, well, I see this person doing this and that person doing that, and it feels like I should be doing everything that I see other people doing.
It's not normal for a human being,
Yeah.
We're older.
But
when I was young.
Yeah.
No, but when we were learning to play our instruments, we were lucky to know somebody who played the instrument in real life, at the bare minimum. Like, there was no YouTube. Okay, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but, go to the public library and check out whatever they had there.
That's how I learned music. I would check out the maximum, 10 CDs at a time. Yeah. I had a pizza delivery job, and I would listen to these jazz CDs. I had no idea what the hell they were. Under the influence of things, driving around, eating pizza, listening to Giant Steps.
Bro, I was there, right? Doing the same thing. The same thing. And it was so innocent and like the myth of this, not the myth, but like the discovery of something new that you had never heard of.
Totally.
Like where I grew up in the Bay, and it was a treat on like a Saturday morning to go, when we were teenagers, to go with the homies to Rasputin's or Amoeba Records and just dig for hours and
I love
find
that
something
Amoeba
that
in
you
San
would.
Francisco.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's such a cool story.
I was just at the one in Berkeley for the holidays, and
oh, that's right. I've been to the one in Berkeley too. Yeah, yeah.
It's like candy store for me. But though learning that way, where there's your sphere of influence is what's directly in front of you, as opposed to the entire world. Because now it's like it's beautiful to have access to all this information, but it's also like, we can't help but compare ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't help. It's like this little 6-year-old is so much better than me.
Oh my God. I just saw a podcast, which I've been really focused on not overthinking or not like allowing the darkness in. But I saw this podcast. It's like 3 or 4 6th graders just talking about like what they eat for lunch at school and what they like. And I don't know. That was one of those things where I'm like, wait, this is something. Should I be aware of this? Should I be like clocking this? Like, I don't know.
Also, it's like we have infinite resources to consume. YouTube and every outlet of social media, news.
Yeah.
It's like it's so much bandwidth in your brain, and it's a slippery slope because it's a dopamine hit every time.
Every time,
and
yeah.
it's like that can wear you out and you didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
it's a slippery
that's true.
slope, So I've consciously decided years ago to let me take the harder road, just for my mental health, peace of mind, and privacy of life, because I think when we're 20 years down the line, I think privacy is going to be such a luxury.
Yeah.
And I have a family, I have a little boy, and we've intentionally, you only meet him if you're in real life. You're not going to see pictures of him. We're not going to post him. Like, we value that privacy. And so it's a double-edged sword, because it's like, granted, I'm very blessed and grateful to be able to do what I love, and support a family by doing it. But I feel like it's a fine line to maintain that level of integrity through privacy, but also how do we, you have to do it if you want a shot at things outside of your little circle.
Totally.
So.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that.
It's a challenge, man.
And you stay working. I mean, the fact
Definitely.
that you're not on social media certainly hasn't prevented you from being really busy playing the bass. Yeah.
Fact.
Which is great. How is it being a dad? You're my first parent actually on the podcast.
Oh man. Well, it's amazing. It's, before he was born, I was in every parent's ear, especially male musicians who have kids, because I just want to know, how do you find the balance, make the time? I mean, that's really what it is making the time. But
Yeah.
bro, he loves music more than me. It's insane.
How old is he?
6 months today.
Wow.
Today is his
Hey.
sixth, half a year old.
Happy half.
He's obsessed over Pedrito Martinez,
Okay.
the conguero from Cuba. He's obsessed. We've watched every Pedrito video on YouTube, every album. He goes crazy for it. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we just put it in front of him, and it was more of an experiment. I'm like, let me see if it's like this. It's passed down, and he loves it. We took him to one of my gigs
Really?
a couple of weeks ago.
He had the big headphones on.
He had the big headphones
I
on.
love that's
his
such a good look.
Yeah, his little rocker and bouncing around, and he had a great time, man. It's beautiful. Music has been a therapy, but also a vehicle for so many amazing life experiences that I want to share that with him. Just the love of music. He doesn't have to play anything. He doesn't have to pursue music professionally. I just want him to have the love and just that twinkle when you hear something that just you feel it, and you recognize, like, man, this takes a lot of work to do. It takes an enormous amount of discipline.
I think he'll see that.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I just want to put it in front of him to show that, look, Dad works really hard to be able to do the things that he does, and he loves what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great way to pave a road and, keep a young man on his path,
Yeah.
So it's beautiful, and it goes without saying, I have a super supportive lady who, takes care of him beyond, just takes care of every need he could possibly have, and support me because I'm busy and in and out of town, and late nights, early mornings, and erratic schedules. So it's having a rock is like, there's no way I can't imagine if that wasn't sound. So that's obviously a priority to.
I feel like it would have to be. And I mean, so that is a big part of this podcast, is sort of how you take care of yourself. Just being a musician by itself is a really monumentally challenging task, right? So, and it just got me thinking, like, God, everybody has these challenges. It's not just me, I know how much I have to work to, like, just sort of keep myself moving, and keep myself from going crazy. And I wanted to talk to other people about how they do that. And it is crazy hearing you say this with child, with family, and with this chosen career. It's like, it's got to be a lot. How do you feel, has it made it harder? Has it made it easier? Has it changed what you're able to sort of focus on? Because I know you as somebody who, you take care of yourself, you watch what you eat, you are very, physically active. And we've talked about those things because we just, we've done enough gigs together where we've hung out. And so how's that been?
I mean, everything in life is a choice, right? Everything is a choice. So it's just a matter of if you want it or if you need to do it, and then secondary, if you want to do it, you make time for it. You make the right choices, just like you make the choices of what you put in your body. You make the choices of how you use your body. So I think you just have to it's just educating oneself to be aware of the pros and cons of your decisions, be it through your diet, regimen of exercise or lack thereof. But it's a challenge because we're in airports, in cars, traffic, late nights, just erratic schedule. So it's about intentionality. It's like if I'm in town, I'm eating at home, man.
Me too.
We stay on meal prep and have been for a long time. And the challenge in that isn't the meal prep. It's like, how do we reinvent the same 5 ingredients? How do we make this feel like, oh, I'm inspired to eat this? That's how for me, that's my internal discipline structure. Maybe it's a little bit more rigid than most. I don't know.
I consider you to be rigid about what you do eat. I'm not the kind of person who needs to be inspired to eat. I'm fine with the same couple of things day in, day out.
I'm talking about eating super lean ground beef, brown rice and a vegetable for 2 to 3 meals a day for years. Like, how do you make that fun again?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for us, the mindset, food, man, food is kind of a hobby for us. You know, it's a pastime. I love sharing meals with friends and family, proper spread, the whole nine. But that's a luxury. You know, we're
Yeah.
all in Southern California. We're not most of us are not from here. Family is limited, so those types of opportunities are reserved for maybe when we go back home or special occasion. But
Yeah.
the day to day, you know, it's such a challenge to eat right. It's such a challenge. I
Yeah.
know cats, they don't even go to the grocery store. You know,
Yeah, I live
I'm
at the
like, how
Vons.
do you do that?
Every time I get in
I
my
don't get it,
car,
man.
my phone automatically thinks I'm going to the Vons down the street.
Dang. Yeah, it's a huge obstacle, especially at least in our peer group. We're most of us in our 30s, 40s, so we're a little bit more rigid and set in our ways. So
Yeah.
just implementing something new after years of, man, I'm gonna get that Taco Bell after the gig, or I'm not gonna eat till 9 o'clock and then just go crazy.
Yeah. The Taco Bell after the gig, I was able to cut out with relative ease. It took a bit of conditioning. You've seen me, though, because what I have a much harder time with is the food that's available on the gig.
I've seen you. I'm not gonna say anything, but I was there.
We did.
Hey, look, man, there were some pretty luxurious choices on some of those events. So.
Yeah, but a lot of them there are, and I just I still, when I get going, I go. It's okay. I try to get better, and I've honestly, I'm gonna be honest about it. I try and actually meditate before I get into those situations, and the meditation is do I need anything right now? No. I'm okay if I don't put anything in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the thing. I have one little savory meatball, whatever the hell. All of a sudden, every time they come around, I grab another, and it's easy to lose count. So I still do struggle. But I don't know. It's also
we're
one of those
not
things.
perfect.
We're
It's
not
normal.
perfect.
We all look, man. If there are sweets in the house, I told my lady, don't bring nothing home because I will eat all of them, and you're not going to get any.
Yeah.
But I guess the barrier of walking down an aisle with everything that tastes good, looks good, that cookies, all that stuff. It's easier to implement it there. It's like, oh, we don't need it. Also,
Right.
I guess for me, it's I'm like, okay, moderation. But that's a touchy subject too. Moderation, what does that even mean? Because we can give ourselves an excuse. Oh, I didn't eat anything, or I've been eating healthy for 2 days, 3 days, and then it's a slippery slope though. But I think it's fine to, everything is okay to have in moderation. You just have to exercise some self-control and not give yourself the excuse to do it every time. I'm not giving you this advice. I'm just speaking on how I
No. It's
how
not
I
about
feel
advice.
about it
Yeah.
in my personal life. And maybe that, maybe that can be implemented in your life or somebody else's, but everything, I'll just preface, everything I'm saying is speaking on my own journey, my own opinion on myself.
Brother, I mean, that's all we have.
I'm not giving anybody advice.
Yeah. I try not to give anybody advice. I try not to proselytize any of the things that have worked for me because I also know that there's so many different ways to just live your life. And I think it's all good. So far as the food thing is concerned, I do consider myself to be fundamentally omnivore, where nothing is inherently off limits. I also just know how habitual I can be and how easy it is for me to lose that control, where it's just I can't just have a handful of chips, for example, usually, because then I just want the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, more often than not, unless I'm prepared to take down a big bag of chips, the easier thing is just to say that's not for me,
Mm-hmm.
But
addition by subtraction.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
What's tough though is being in situations where that stuff is available, and that's where it gets a little bit grayer, because it's well, I don't know, what kind of a life am I trying to live? I want to have some fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Moderation.
Yeah.
But exercising self-control when you know you're hitting that threshold of no return.
I know.
That's the hard one, you know.
Every day is a new day and an opportunity to
Ain't that the
either
truth?
succeed or not.
I just look at people close to me who have had a real struggle with their bodies, and I can't help but trace it back oftentimes to diets. And
Have you ever struggled though? I mean, in that sense, I'm just curious. And I have some other questions that I want to ask you that
For sure.
I'm going to have you spin a wheel. But I'm curious because knowing you and how, serious you are about these things, I'm just wondering, like, how did you get to this point? Was it just because of how you felt? Was it because of a goal that you had?
I think it's a lifestyle thing. I don't feel it's a serious thing at all. It's just, to me, in my little world, in my head, it's the normal. It's just like, that's what it is.
Who taught you that?
The majority of things I think I've learned have been, through, as a musician and as a man and as a person. Granted, yes, from positive mentors, yes, but I've also learned quite a bit from people who I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to have that happen to me or people I love.
Yeah.
I want to I want to take a different path so I don't have to we'll experience those type of things, often health related. Just in my family, there's been a lot of, health related tragedies, and it's just, I'm not, I feel a burden of responsibility to live a certain way so that I can be healthy and able-bodied enough to take care of those around me, but also be able to make difficult choices, or just choices that require require you to have lived some life and be level-headed about. I'm speaking vaguely, intentionally.
Yeah.
But yes, so I've learned from taking care of family members who have, health, like, just who are in poor health for a long time. And it's like, it kind of scares me, like, I've spent a lot of time in, ICUs and ERs and just hospitals, and I'm just I have
That'll scare the shit
really
out of
hard
you.
time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see people close to me have to go through those things, be it like emergencies, like, oh, this just happened right now, or slow bleeds.
Sure. Yeah.
Those are equally as hard. So for me, it's like, and I also grew up in the Bay, man. Everyone's on that hippie tip, like vegan.
Yeah, growing up here, I feel like, compared to the Midwest where,
I feel for you Midwest boys and girls, man. Like,
oh, it was fun.
The food's good out there.
Yeah.
Food is killing out there.
Yeah, it was a good time, but it was also easy to be, 50 pounds overweight my whole life.
I mean, that's what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, growing up in the Bay, it's like, everyone's on that tip. Everyone's on the health tip.
My story with this is a little bit weirder just because of how my family was, which was sort of an anomaly within the greater Midwest sort of eating-a-thon, That's that, yeah. I also am somebody who tends to need to burn my hand on the stove before I learn not to touch it. It's not enough to see other people go, ow, that's hot. I go, well, how hot is it?
Like you said, you're trying to have some fun in life.
I've been doing okay.
Flying close to the sun.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I don't know if I still have any feathers left on my wings, but here we are talking about it. And that's why I want to have these conversations. All right. I'm going to ask you some questions. Pick a number between 1 and 4.
2.
2. All right. Spin the wheel, brother. Just hit spin. Yeah.
Show the people. Let's see. It's spinning. Is it going to stop?
It'll stop.
I got to stop it. Says, what helps you when you are struggling?
What helps you when you're struggling?
Man, people.
Yeah.
People who I love and love me back. My family. That's one part. Another part, what helps me when I'm struggling? And I don't take any of these people in my life for granted, but that's number one. And I can easily be fulfilled by them, but we're creatives. And for me, I definitely side more on the introverted side, and peace and time alone, man, that helps everything for me. Okay, that might not work for everybody. So physical activity, if you got a lot on your mind, and sometimes burning those thoughts through sweating them out helps a
Yeah.
lot. Um, but for me, it's just like emoting. And for me, sometimes that alone time is like processing things so then I can implement what's the next step. How do I get back on track? Obviously, music, you know, is the greatest therapy for me and has been since I started playing. So,
Isn't that the best when you come into a gig feeling, for whatever reason, something's on your mind, something's bugging you, you're down, you're pissed, you play that gig and it's like you get it out. When that happens, those are the best gigs.
it's what we keep coming back for.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You get your gas tank is on E, and I mean, this last week was really busy, and I was so tired, and I had to cram and learn a bunch of material. Um, and one gig in particular was like 15 songs and an hour set or something like that. Learned them all, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep and spend time with the fam.
Yeah.
I got so charged up from that gig. It was hitting so hard.
Yeah.
And it just like, man, I was talking to the artist after. I'm like, isn't this why we do this? And it's
Yeah.
like, we've been doing this for how long? And it's like, this is that rush that we come back for every time. And I try to explain it to non-musicians, not eloquently, of course, but I'm like, this is what we do it for.
Yeah.
Granted, everything else aside, the professional aspect, yes, that's equally valuable, but like, that's that innocence that keeps us young at heart as artists, creatives, and musicians. It's like that's what I love it so much. Yeah,
It's a really interesting thing, and it's a very specific type of a release that I think that, I would hate to say this definitively, but like that only musicians would understand what that feeling is. I also think it was one of the first true types of expression that I found was like super authentic to what I was feeling internally, that I didn't need to be or wasn't tasked with trying to like verbalize what the issues were. It was more like I'm getting something out.
yeah.
And it was so transcendent and so incredible. And that started happening like in high school. And that was addicting, and I've definitely chased that. I think that part of the growing up process is realizing that if that's your only outlet, you may be setting, I'm talking to myself, you need something else. You do like some sort of real therapy or figuring it out, right? Because for the last couple of years, like learning how to exercise in that way or actually doing therapy or like, for me, other types of recovery have become just as important. But I will totally say that what you're saying there, that was my first hit of like, I got to do this.
Especially as a teenager. I've worked, before I relocated down to Southern California, when I was up in the Bay Area, I was a very active mentor and in education. And what I recall, because when I was learning to play, I'm a product of public schools, and so there was a clarinet in the family, so I'm like, okay, yeah, we get to play music in school. Mm-hmm. So it kind of set the table. And then, as is the case for me, I'm a bass player by trade, and then the majority of us as bass players, none of us chose to be a bass player. Someone chose us, like, hey, there ain't no bass player in this band. You want to work? You want to play? Yeah. So I just hopped on, and But for me, I recall during that time of my life how empowering that was. And it was for the first time I felt like, man, I can control something in my life, or I have control over something, and it's such a different feeling, and
well, bass players, you control the fundamental sound of a band.
Sure.
And that's cool.
Sure.
I love bass players.
Producer V loves bass players, so
what can I say? But absolutely, it's like it's such a valuable lesson to learn, especially at a formative time, 13 to 17, 18, I'm a huge advocate, especially for putting something in front of somebody that age where they can learn how to empower themselves. And it's like, look, you work hard, you love this, and you put the more you put into it, the further you can go if you put time into it. Like I'm such an advocate for that. I feel that this is a whole nother subject, but I feel like tying it full circle, it's like with the whole social media thing, it's like empty calories because you're not going to learn or you're not going to learn lessons through that. You'll be inspired, but it's like quick little burnout flame. You know, we need
it's a stimulation overload.
Yeah. But it's also like, what, 20, 30-second clips? So it's, like I said, empty
a
calories.
lot of times less than that.
Yeah, it's potato chips.
Yeah.
Like, what nutrients are you getting from that? You know? So, yeah, it's empowering. And it's not about being powerful. It's like, what I put into this, I can get back. Like, I'm in control of where I take this, you know? And I'm sure as most teenagers feel, it's like they want to rebel or they want to use their voice.
Is that about what age you were when you started, 13, 14?
No, I started playing bass when I was like 17. Yeah.
Really?
I was in high school. Yeah. There was I told you, I was playing, I played clarinet and I really wanted to play saxophone. And so
you were a woodwind guy.
Yeah, until I was in like 11th or 12th grade.
No way. So who said, hey, we're choosing you?
No, when I was in high school, you know, the only opportunity to play was in the jazz band, and then there was a marching band and a concert band. And it was cool to me because all of my friends were playing trumpet or drum set or whatever. And, you know, but collectively, I think it was okay. But like individually, nobody was good. Like nobody took lessons.
Sure.
Like it was just like, oh, we come to school and play. And that was great. I was like, this is awesome, you know? But one of our friends who was a couple years older than me, no, he was a year older than me. He passed suddenly, and they had like a little jazz group with like trumpet and saxophone and rhythm section. You know, and I kind of looked up to him just because he was playing this. He played saxophone, I played saxophone, and he was older than me, and it's like high school. It's like, whoa, like he's doing all the cool stuff. But he passed suddenly, and they started a band under his name, and then so they asked me to play sax, which was a huge honor, and it was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And then the bass player, like we started doing little gigs. Doing little gigs at like the coffee shop or like the senior retirement home or a restaurant, and it was so awesome because it wasn't in school. It was the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, I got to play and started playing with them, and then the bass player was like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is boring. Like, I don't want to play Chameleon and Mercy, Mercy, Mercy. And,
oh, I still love playing those songs.
Ain't that funny? We still play those songs.
I know.
But you know, for the joy of it back then, playing it, and then there was no bass player, so I was like, man, that looks easy. I'll do it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you play bass. I'm like, sure. And then it was just like nothing else.
Yeah.
And, I mean, then the first time I saw a real bass player was when one of the CSUs came to the high school because the director at the high school was a graduate from CSU Hayward, Cal State Hayward. It's called CSU East Bay now.
Mm-hmm.
But they, like, the college level jazz band came, and they were so good, you know. And we would go compete around, and I saw like Berkeley High School with like, there were some heavy, like, for real musicians, and that was the first time I ever saw like super killing musicians my age. I was like, that I didn't even know it was possible.
Right.
Like Thomas Pridgeon and Ambrose, and like, I was like, they were levels and still are, obviously, just like phenomenal. But yeah, so that's how I started playing bass, and I feel like a lot of other bass players probably have the same story, but maybe they started much younger.
Honestly, there aren't like, everyone's story is unique. I know for me, because I started playing a couple years before you, and really the first time that I was exposed to the caliber of players that you're talking about was I got sent to that Berklee College of Music 5-week summer program, and
I bet you had fun there.
That's a whole separate episode. I left for like 4 days to go and see Fish shows.
You left the camp.
I left the camp. And we took Chinatown buses from Boston to Philly to New York and then back. And again, that's a whole other thing. But that year that I was there, John Batiste was there. Mm-hmm. Not to say that there weren't great musicians, you know, where I grew up, but it was just different, you know. And also the cultural clash, or not, clash is the wrong word, but just mix, you know, because I'm from a suburb outside of Chicago. All of a sudden I'm meeting people from, you know, East Coast, West Coast, down south. Totally changed my whole concept of how people play music and what they like, you know. And also other types of sort of recreational fun that we were having at the time. So it was formative. It's great.
But like I said earlier, what I learned from that artist, never let anyone tell your story. It's like you're a product of all those life experiences,
Yeah.
you know, and just, I don't know, we have to find the courage as artists to accept and embrace and also learn from. We don't have to tell everyone everything, you know, but I'm just saying it's like be comfortable and at peace with all of those things, positive and negative, because that's the life we've lived. And being an artist is about connecting with others about life, you know?
Yeah.
So that's dope, man. You took a bus that's crazy, to see Fish. You still do that.
I don't go see them, but now Fish.
Now you can drive yourself.
I can drive myself if I want. I do. They are playing in a couple of months at the Hollywood Bowl, but now Fish plays an important part of my life, which is that it's the soundtrack to my runs.
That's right. You told me.
Yeah. I mean, it's my favorite. So spin again.
Spin again.
Or unless you want to do another. I have four wheels.
What makes you special? Oh boy.
I love that question, and the reason I want to ask it is because I want to know what do you think is.
What does special mean? How do you want to define special?
How would you define special?
Are we talking about everyone gets a trophy 1990 special? What are we talking here?
What makes you unique?
I think, man, I feel like there's a lot to say on this. How do I feel I'm unique? Well, like I said, only I know my story.
Yeah.
Only I know it. Some people might think they know, especially if you have a platform, especially if you have visibility as an artist. People think they know you. They think that you perform on stage. People think by being there and witnessing it and sharing and maybe feeling something similar that they know something super intimate about you. And they might, because we're being super vulnerable as performers and artists. We're sharing things that words cannot describe. We're sharing feelings that are people can only evoke those feelings maybe through a shared musical experience. So what makes me special? That's what it is. I only know my story, me and God, nobody else. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I'm in the traditional sense of how we maybe will use the word special, unique. Oh, I can play this way, or I don't know. I think that's it. Like, I will speak my way. I will play my way. And we're always on that journey to hone out, like, take the sculpture and chisel out all the garbage.
Yeah.
You know, like
Michelangelo making the David. Yeah.
If only.
Yeah.
If only. But it's like, I'm trying to, that's it. Like, I want to get rid of all the noise. Like, I just want to be true to myself. That's it. Yeah.
I think that
I don't even think I answered the question.
Well, no, but you did in a roundabout way, which is to say that we live in this world of, like, it's extremely competitive, and it's so easy to get caught up in those things, like you're saying, that are ultimately just distractions and ways to make yourself feel bad about yourself. I don't know how easy it is. I know for me, I tend to focus on the negatives. I tend to look in the mirror and look at the things that I don't like. It's all I see. Or when I'm playing, I'm focusing on the things that I don't like about what I hear, or oh, that was stupid, or why did I, you know what I mean? And I think it's so important to learn to spend that time and rewire the thought process. Why am I allowing myself to continue to be in this space where I could be focusing on the things about me that I like, that are good, that, you know, are the reasons why people want me around or would call me for this or just to hang or whatever. I think the way that you answered that question embodies a lot about what makes you special, which is that you carry that with you, you know, like who you are is of value to you. And that isn't an easy thing. Now I think about this and kind of how you are and the things that you're saying, and I'm just like, man, that's some stuff that I can take with me too and learn from that.
And it's sort of our job too to be super self-critical, because I always want to get better.
Yeah.
You know, but I've been in the presence of some heavy people who can pave a road and keep you on your path, but have also achieved some of the greatest things you could ever achieve as artists and musicians. And what I've learned from them is that's kind of the game. It's like you can't settle for mediocrity. You know when you're half-assing. You know when you're just getting by. We can't settle for that. We owe it to ourselves, of course, but we owe it to the gift of music and the blessing that all these people who come before us, all the people the shoulders that we stand on, we owe it to them, and we owe it to the world, because what we do is such an amazing privilege, amazing thing. And you know how they say about like you go to the national park, it's like you got to leave it better than when you found it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to accomplish in my life as an artist and musician. That's the only thing I want to accomplish, and be it through touching people through performances and releasing music, but also spending extra time with youngsters and people who are on their way or finding their way, to make sure that the music is still gonna go on, because that's what it's about to me. That's what it's about. The competitiveness, that's I try to compartmentalize that. It's like, yeah, I know how it works in this town, you know, and granted, maybe some opportunities like that will open, the door will open for me, but that's up to God. And I'm not going to sit there and bang on the door and try to force myself. I guess for me, it's like, I just want to be true to the music, and it has always just been true to me. Like, yeah, I would love to be on Stevie Wonder's gig, but you know what? There can only be one bass player, and he's been playing for 50-something years. So I can't sit there and bang on that door, just as an example. But also, we just got to focus on what we're in control of. But man, I could talk for hours, so I'm not trying to eat up your real estate.
No. It's beautiful. And, you know, ultimately, you just made me think of, like, one of the things that I do try to think of more now is not so much trying to be the best at what somebody else is best at, but trying to be the best at what I'm best at, which isn't necessarily the thing that's going to get me on Stevie Wonder's gig. It might, but it might get me on the gig that I'm actually suited best for, you know? All right. So here's what I have now. We're going to debut a brand new segment of the show, and it's called Green Room Snacks. Okay?
Oh, I haven't eaten yet, so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Green Room Snacks. Where we're going to rate snacks you might find in a green room. Green Room Snacks! You got the sack! After we load it and check, we'll be back. Yes, these chips are loose! Pass the juice! Who asked for sauerkraut? I'm looking at this pie and it's getting me high. Forgot the plate, someone's gonna die. I got 9 drinks! Jack Links! Abusing every food group and I'm running wild, eh? Hey, 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 oh, hoy vey, oh, hoy vey, hey, 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 Green Room Snacks! Yes, it's Green Room Snacks! All right, so this is...
You own that, man.
This is Green Room Snacks. Let's try some snacks. I went to Trader Joe's and I got a bunch of stuff that you might find in a green room.
Let's go.
All right, so... Okay, so kind of just to... Because I know you and I thought it would be funny to antagonize you a little bit. I'm giving you the unhealthy round. So we have these Pizza Party potato chips. Okay, hang on.
Get back on the mic.
I will. Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks. So we got from Trader Joe's, of course, Pizza Party potato chips. What are these?
Cheetos.
Fancy cheese crunchies, cheese and truffle flavored. Okay. Which I thought
I've never seen that. In
I
the
haven't
green
either.
room, bro.
I've actually never tried any of these.
Yeah,
what
the
else?
chips. And what is that? Oh, some trail
Oh
mix.
yeah, and then this is like the junky trail mix, the good stuff, you know.
Chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. So, try a snack and then let's rate them out of guitar strings. So 1 to 6.
How does that work? What's the 6th string is the big string? I always wondered that on guitar.
Okay, so 6th string is your lowest string.
And then the tiny string is 1.
And then the tiny string is the first string.
Gotcha.
So our 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd are your...
I know what the tuning of a guitar is, bro. I'm just wondering, like, what's the what's the number?
Then why'd you ask the question? Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how you want to do this?
Try them.
Try them?
Yeah. Just go nuts.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna try this fancy
chili lime. How come some of them are like taquitos and some of them are chips?
I don't know, because that's what Trader Joe decided.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Adjust yourself in the chair.
Oh.
So we should probably try them all first, huh? Or do we just want to rate them now?
You can rate them one at a time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, so 1 is the best?
I think 6 would be the best. 6 would be a full guitar's value.
I mean, all these snacks are gonna be good, man.
I know, that's kind of yeah. But here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking. What of these am I going to be the most likely to just tear down and then feel awful? I don't know if this is it. I don't know if these fancy cheese crunchies are it for me. I'm going to try this pizza one.
Tastes like oregano. They don't taste like pizza at all. Fancy. They put fancy on the bag. You already know. With truffle, oh my,
It does taste like oregano, but I taste the pizza party. This would kill me. I'm gonna give this four guitar strings. This is a bass.
How dare you? How dare you? Oh, I didn't rate. Let me see. Oh, we don't have to put them in order. We're just rating them.
Yeah.
This one's cool. I'll give it like a 3.
Let me try that.
It's like a healthy Takis.
It's like Taki, but
yeah, but what is it about it that's healthy? Is it just that it came from Trader Joe's?
Probably.
Ooh.
This one, the cheese. This one was better. I'll go 5. I'll go 5 on
That's
this
5
one.
out of 6?
Yeah, it's got truffle in it. When are you gonna get truffle in a bag like this?
I don't know. Something about that though just didn't really do it for me.
These pizzas, I'm giving them a 1, man.
That's a 1.
If
Wow.
I'm gonna eat potato chips, man. Don't try to health up my potato chips.
A sad 1-string guitar.
Yeah.
Not touching that thing.
I might even go 0, man.
This is my
that's
6.
right, yeah.
This is my 6 string right here. These chili limes, I can take this down. This would be a real problem if this was on my rider.
A public service announcement for those manufacturing trail mix. Can you please keep dried fruit out? Let us get the dried fruit separately. Like, trail mix is not healthy, you guys. Just a heads up.
Adding raisins to the chocolate.
All right. For the sake of the pod, I'm just gonna take because normally what I would do, I'll just eat the almonds.
I knew it. I knew that was going to be how you did it. And this is why we can never go on tour together. Because I would probably do the same thing. Although, all right. See, I know this one.
Man, that's good. I'm gonna go 6. Just because I love chocolate.
You know what?
Salty and sweet, that always hits.
I'm about to. Can I go? I'm gonna go 7-string guitar.
Dang.
This rating system is off the rails. No, I'll stick to 6. I'm gonna do the chili lime. Fake Takis these are really good. That's a 6. This trail mix is a 6. Did I give an official rating for the cheese puffs?
No.
2.
Really?
They're kind of not.
Man.
It just didn't hit for me.
Well, because we only ate 1.
No, I had a few. Let me try again. Maybe I'll revise my score. There's something about that truffle that's so like science-y truffle. Does that make sense?
I mean, everything is sciencey on this table, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's definitely.
But I think
it's ingredients list, man. It's like 2 paragraphs complaining about it don't taste real.
It doesn't. I don't know, but that one tastes the most obviously not real to me, in a way that bothers me.
You don't have to eat them, you know.
No, you don't have to eat them, but what
they're
if they're there?
So we're gonna eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
See, we gave ourselves permission.
Yeah.
No, normally, I wouldn't. I'm not trying to eat this stuff. I mean, it's guilty pleasure. Like it's got to
Totally.
be, for me, it's intentional. It's like, all right, we're gonna get this bag.
Yeah.
It's gonna be at the house. When I have some leisure time, let's eat them.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's slippery slope because snacks. It's like you're hungry. Like maybe you didn't eat your dinner, right? Or
Okay,
you
but these
haven't
are
eaten
green
a meal.
room
So,
snacks.
yeah, you're gonna eat the whole bag.
So
I know
what do
people
you
who
get?
eat this
What do you
as their
put on
meal.
your? What do you? Well, that's.
I don't get to put anything on a green room, but if there's food in a green room, like I did this event up in out of town, and it was the spread. We didn't ask for anything. I mean, the artist asked for some liquor, but you know, we let them have their fun. The whole spread was fresh fruit and vegetables, hummus, cheeses, those, I don't know what they're called, the little bars,
Oh, the RX bars?
RX
Those
bars.
are pretty solid.
Those were smacking, man.
Yeah,
smacking.
yeah.
There were dates and like almonds and stuff, chocolate. It was so good.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have just like, I want fresh ingredients. It doesn't have to be healthy. I just want actual food. Like, this is like, yeah, we'll get by.
I'm with you. I mean, listen, maybe you're just lucky to have been in bands with people who prefer to have that or only ask for that. But a lot of times I'm in bands where they fight me on those choices and they want this, which, you know, they're free to do what they want. I have the same thing where I'm just like, you're putting this in my space. Now I have to reckon with saying no to this. That makes it hard for me.
Yeah, but you know, you're made for it. You can handle it.
Can I?
You know, yeah, you can. It's a choice, bro. It's
TBD.
It's a choice.
TBD.
You got this. No, you got this. No, if it's in town, you know me. I'll bring my Tupperware.
Well, if it's in town, yeah.
If you're out of town, there are ways around it, man. Touring the Midwest in the summertime or something like that, where, you know, you got gas stations and fast food. You know.
Yeah. What's your gas station? If you go to a gas station, what are you gonna get?
I don't know. It's been water. I like fizzy water. Like if I'm hungry, I sigh out myself, and I'll drink fizzy water because it makes my stomach feel full.
Dude, yeah.
But that's not.
Same.
I mean, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more rigid. I don't advise anyone to do that. Like if you need some food, I've insulted myself too many times in my younger days of eating too many almonds or peanuts, and I just am way more hungry after that. Trying to think I'm gonna be full. Sometimes, like if I'm feeling like fancy, I'll get the little bar. What is it called? With the rock climber on it.
The Cliff Bar?
Cliff Bar.
Cliff
yeah,
bars
yeah.
are good.
But they're super high sugar, and then my metabolism gets all spiked. And
Cliff
then I
Bars
get
are kind of
tired,
weird
so.
to me though, because they have that there's like a gumminess to it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, 100%. But they have oats and nuts and just some things that'll maybe break down slower once I eat them, so curb my hunger slightly.
So you're really thinking about what you put into your body in a way that
100%.
is beyond just Yeah,
man. I mean, we are so annoying about it. We're not. I mean, I don't want to speak on it to anyone else. You live your life, but at home we try to do like the single ingredients and then combine those single ingredients to make things.
Yeah.
You know, like no bread. Maybe pasta once every 2 or 3 weeks or something like that.
Mhm.
But we try to avoid any enriched flours, which are flours that have like folate and stuff added to them.
sure.
Just they trigger inflammation more than maybe you can go to Trader Joe's and get the imported pasta for 99 cents, man.
Right.
And it doesn't. Anyways.
Well, sorry I didn't make you pasta.
No, I'm just speaking on like, we didn't speak on it. But like
I know, I'm
snacks,
just
like it's tricky, man. Snacks, I feel like when I see cats in the green room, snacks become the meal, you know?
Yeah, and then you got a meal on top of that.
Yeah, you're drinking whiskey or tequila or something, and it's just like, you're setting yourself to be ravenous after you play, and then you're really gonna put some calories in because you're gonna want something heavy. You want real food, you know?
Yeah,
it's slippery slope.
it's
you
true.
know?
Well, thanks for bearing with me and having some snacks with me.
We made it.
There's only one more thing you got to do to wrap up the podcast. You got to look
Anything
in the
for
camera.
you, Dr. D.
Got to look in the camera and say, "I put my pants on one leg at a time."
Got you. I put my pants on one leg at a time.
You heard it here first, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
One leg, at a time. One leg, at a time. One leg, at a time. Put your pants on one leg at a time. One leg at a time. One leg. Put your pants on one leg at a time.